All right. So we're coming to this a bit late because my fire alarm kept going off, which you can't really record anything when your fire alarm went off in your house. There isn't a fire. I just want to reassure everybody I've checked. There's no fire. So we're coming a bit late to this. But welcome to Nick and Becca's Fireside Chat Part 2. How are you, Nick?
Very well. I noticed that we're both dressed in dark colours for some reason.
Yeah, well, I've got my Tricres merch on, which says I'm leading a coaching rebellion. Okay. So
That's
just,
nice.
yeah, it is nice. And also, obviously, I bought my mug back, not
Uh,
business.
I've got my posh Fortnum and Mason mug with my initials on.
Did you get any feedback from the last Nick and Becca fireside chat?
No,
I did.
did you?
Yeah, I've met people who've watched it and listened to it and everything, and they liked it.
That are not in your family.
Yes, yes, that are not in my family wouldn't watch it.
No, that's true. I mean, I'm in your family. I didn't watch it.
Well, you were in it.
Yeah, no, exactly. And who needs to see themselves back on a screen? It's horrible.
Just no, no. So today I thought we'd talk about what makes you laugh because
Seriously, I mean, seriously, what makes me laugh, or the flippant answer to what makes me laugh?
well, maybe we should do both.
Yeah,
Go on then. What makes you laugh?
just generally,
Yeah.
very little. It's true. That is true. Very little makes me laugh. And I'm hesitating because last week there was something that made me laugh so much that I cried laughing. Because
No.
when I do laugh, I tend to really, really, if something gets me, it's just there. It's just on it. I might have to ask Sally what it was because I could not stop laughing. And I know if I remember it now, I will fall apart.
Right.
You see, now I'm thinking about something literally it must be about 30 years ago that Brendan said. Do you remember Brendan? Who can forget Brendan? Right, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And he said that. And when I remember what he said and the context in which he said it, that always absolutely kills me every time I think about it. There was something last week. Am I allowed to ask Sally what it was?
Yeah, do you want me to pause while you do that?
No, I think this should. I think the people, the person, the two people, we might have doubled our
Trellis,
numbers.
Mrs.
Who
Trellis
are
of North Wales.
right, Mrs. Trellis from Wales, from North Wales, who are watching this and
Yeah.
listening to this. One of the things that I think that they clutch onto to keep them watching is the fact that it's absolutely live and spontaneous. And I just, unless there is a fire,
Yeah, and there's not, I've checked.
right, or some equally dire domestic emergency here. I think we should just let the camera roll.
All right. Okay. Well, go and ask Sally then. Go and see what she says.
For our watcher,
Yeah.
I'm wearing shorts.
Are you?
Yeah, I want to flag that up. I don't want anybody, maybe if anybody's eating or has recently eaten, I just think it's like a trigger warning, isn't it? It's like they now put this contains foul language.
Drug use.
They put trigger warnings for absolutely everything now, don't they? There'll be somebody eating nuts in this program or something. Right. Let
Go
me
and
ask.
find
Sally! It's all how you ask, isn't it?
it is. It's in the asking that he's got his camo shorts on, which is very on trend. Oh, there goes the dog. Whilst Nick's doing that, I'm going to show you my sunburn from yesterday. Look, I've got ice cream arms. It's like Neapolitan. This is the strawberry bit, and this is the vanilla bit. I was gardening yesterday in Edinburgh, in Scotland, and I got sunburnt. So, all you Americans, particularly Tammy, who thinks the weather's always really bad here. It's not. Sometimes it's really good, and I got burnt. Okay. I'm just hiding that. I've now got factor 50 on, and I've also got marks on my arms, and it's not because I'm self-harming, it's because the rose bushes got me. Okay. Just so you know. Was Sally not? She might.
No, she can't remember either. There should have been a warning that you were going to mention self-harming.
I was just showing everybody my sunburn. Look.
You see, Viv Parry at Russ and Bromley used to say, red skin is damaged skin. Honestly, anytime I see anybody with sunburn, I hear Viv.
She's right, it is.
Many years. She died many years ago. She died far too young, but many years ago. Viv Parry. And she used to say, red skin is damaged skin, Nick. Always stuck with me. No, Sally can't remember what it was. But it was something that really tickled me. I've begun listening to I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue again.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Way old episodes I bought on Apple audio books or something like that.
I've started, you remember Green Wing? I loved Green Wing.
Yeah, you liked Green Wing.
Listening to that on Audible as well, that makes me laugh.
Yeah.
I just think it's silly. I like silly humor, but clever humor. We celebrated in the business yesterday the International Day of the Potato, which I thought was highly relevant to business coaching.
Yes.
Yeah, and I believe last month we did the International Day of Tuna. I don't know what's coming up next month. We'll have to wait and see. Trying to find the most obscure international days of, because when everybody's zigging, we zag, Nick.
Yeah, and my initial reaction when I found out there was an International Day of Tuna is there an International Day of Sweet Corn?
Yes.
Because they go together, don't they?
They do. Yeah,
Tuna and sweet corn. You'd expect that, wouldn't you? You'd expect the sweet corn lobby,
yeah,
to be, a loud clarion call going, well, hang on, we want equal rights. If they're going to get a day, the bloody tuna fish, what about us?
Mm.
We bring yellow, zesty crispiness to what would otherwise be just basically a very dry sandwich filling.
You can't digest sweet corn though.
Let's not go there. Move on. I have a picture here which the viewer can't see.
Yeah.
Of Eric Morecambe. Eric Morecambe. Morecambe and Wise, for those, if I don't know what demographic our viewer is, but if they're over 50, they would have heard of Morecambe and Wise. And he made me laugh. He was funny.
Very funny. Yeah, he was. And Tommy Cooper, he was funny.
Yeah, he did some very, very amusing stuff. My problem is that because I have done stand-up comedy and I tend to not be able to relax. First of all, I don't watch comedians. But on the odd occasion I do, I can't really relax and watch them because I'm analysing what they're saying and thinking, okay, yeah, that's quite funny, but actually you could have taken it that direction. And what I would have done is like, well, surely you're going to add this about that. And I once had this discussion with a woman who was a club DJ, and she said, as a part-time thing, a hobby thing, and she said being a club DJ had ruined going to clubs for her because she couldn't just relax and get into the vibe and the music because she was analysing what the DJ was playing and the way they were mixing in with the next and going, oh, no, I would have just, no.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, I find myself doing that with people who phone me to sell me something because I was in recruitment for so long. I had a guy this morning. I was on the way to the gym.
Yeah.
And his opening gambit was, I'm just about to give you a really bad day. And obviously I was like, well, that's not a great opening gambit because now I feel physically sick and think all my loved ones have died. And then he said, it's a sales call. So then I experienced immediate relief.
Yes.
I went, well, he said, have you got 30 seconds? I went, literally 30 seconds because I'm going to the gym. And then I mean, his pattern, his banter was good, but we didn't need what he sells.
Right.
Uh, but he did finish by going, "Do you know anybody who might?" And he asked in a nice way. So I've said I'll connect with you on LinkedIn. So we won it round, but I'm always unpicking the technique.
Yeah.
It's not a technique I'm about to make your day really bad is not, I don't think, a great intro
No,
because
I don't
you
think
don't know what
that's.
somebody's experienced in the recent
No,
past.
no, that's right. You don't.
So I was going to give him that feedback, but I couldn't be bothered. So I'll just let him crack on. Um, yeah, but I analyze that and I also and other coaches might experience this, and I've had to work really hard to get over this. Sometimes when other people tell you how amazing other coaches are, there's a little part of you that's like, I hate them.
Yeah.
That's just me.
No.
Right, okay.
No, I think that's a human thing. I think there are people who are bigger than us.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, in terms of generosity of spirit, and you are very generous of spirit.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but there are very few people who wouldn't, who, if whatever their field was, I don't know, who wouldn't get well gel, not well gel, very jealous, but certainly have a little experience of I don't like them.
A little. And I get over it really quickly,
Yeah,
but there's like a little split second, right? Well, and then I just go, well, actually, of course, there are really good coaches out there because that's just the
yeah,
nature of the beast.
that's right.
Yeah.
But you don't need to hear about it, do you?
Not really, no. No, I don't. And then when I did loads of NLP training, it was, oh, do you know this NLP trainer? No, as though I should know them. It's like, no, no, I don't know them. Are they an international megastar? Well, then no, I don't know them.
No,
But
but
then I thought,
that's not unreasonable. I mean, you can understand why people do that. In the same way that American people might go, if you say, "Oh, I live in Manchester," and they go, "Oh, do you know so and so?"
yeah, true. It's a human thing, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, and going back to what you say, have you watched the third season of Clarkson's Farm?
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Excellent, isn't it? But there is a scene in that, is there not, where his Clarkson's sidekick, what's he called? Begins with A, doesn't it? No.
Oh,
What?
Caleb.
Caleb doesn't begin with A at all, does it? Caleb is introduced to that other guy that
Oh,
used to be
yeah.
a band, and he's
Yeah.
plowing. He's going to be plowing his field, and how possessive he becomes is of no, this is my field, and this is the way I do farming, and he's really like, well, what sort of using that won't get through the stones. That won't. Even
Yeah.
though he recognizes that there are other people who do farm. I mean, obviously, and people use different techniques, but you don't need it putting in your face like that, going, yeah, we're using this guy to do this field. Oh.
I think we should call it doing a Caleb then. That momentary, like little twinge of, "Ugh," we should call it doing a Caleb embrace it as a human thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe actually what that is a sign of is that you actually care about what it is that one is caring about what one does.
Yeah,
Because if you didn't care, it wouldn't bother you that there were other people doing what you were doing, let alone that they were better than you. Like, well, I genuinely don't care. But because you do care, and many coaches and consultants, I mean, they really care about the way they do things, and I think they're giving of their best.
yes.
They're really doing best by their clients. That the idea that there's somebody else that's really, really good.
Yeah.
And the other thing I would say is, and it's an interesting thing, isn't it, from a business perspective, is actually if should one devote any time, if any at all, devote any time, any the amount of time, or if any at all, to finding out what competitors are doing. Now,
Yeah.
my reaction to that has always, ever since I was in my very first sales job, and obviously I was in a sales team, I didn't give one crap about what other salespeople were doing that were in my sales team on I just was not interested. And we used to have a sales meeting on a Friday morning, and everyone come in and go, what have you done this week? What did you do this year? What did you do? What percentage of target have you done? What percentage of new business you done? Not only did I genuinely not know because I wasn't interested, but I didn't want to know. I'm not interested in what other people are doing, because you can get fixated on what all your competitors are doing. And actually, you have no control over what they're doing. So why don't you just focus on what you're doing?
Yeah. Yeah, didn't you find that with exams when you're at school? So, like, before you went in the exam, everybody went on and on about what have you revised? And like, I just wouldn't engage because I don't care. It's because it's too late by then. If you haven't revised,
Right. Yeah, that's right.
you're stuffed. And then after the exam, they did this terrible post-mortem on what did you put? I don't care. It's too late.
It's
I'm
done.
going for a cup of tea now
Yeah,
because what's done is done and cannot be undone, to quote Shakespeare.
yeah.
And why? It's the same with competitors. You're right. I've never had that thing either. It's like I don't care.
Trusted.
Yeah, not bothered. Don't care. Just you get on with it. That's fine. I'll leave you to it. Yeah, definitely. That's
I
not to say, our kid. If I see somebody doing something really great in a space that we want to be in or get better at it, I'll model what they're doing and make it our own. So I'm
yeah,
not,
yeah,
yeah.
that makes sense. You model excellence from other
Yeah.
people. You go, oh, I like the way they approach that, or I like the way they do that. I'm going to take that.
Mm.
I'm going to use that and make it my own.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really important. I still have my little on YouTube. I still have my little Nick Flicks site on YouTube. And a few weeks ago, I did a piece to camera about Tottenham Hotspur,
Right.
who were playing Manchester City. And a lot of the Tottenham fans wanted Tottenham to lose that match
Why?
because if they'd have beaten Manchester City, there was a good chance that Arsenal would have won the league.
Right.
So they would rather their own team lost and
Okay.
missed out on a European place
Right.
in soccer football than win and mean that their biggest North London rivals would win the Premier League. And because I listen to Talk Sport a lot, and there was a lot of phoning, and the vast majority of Spurs fans were, I am going to be cheering for Manchester City.
Right.
Positively, yeah, positively cheering. I want my team to lose. Okay. And there was a bit of a debate about it. And I was so vexed by this. I
Hmm.
did a little thing, and maybe we should put it on the Tricres thing. I wonder if I can put it on there.
Well, upload it to Basecamp. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to lower my desk
Yeah,
because
lower your desk. Lower
yeah.
your desk. Because it's the same thing. And what I say in that, so we'll put it on the base camp thing and put it out there, is that you shouldn't be worrying about what your rival team is doing, because you have no control over what they're doing. The only control you have over is over your own team.
Yeah.
Um, and that's it. And why waste any energy, physical or mental energy, worrying about your rival's team? I mean, it's just, who's interested? But lots of people were hugely vested in Spurs losing actively.
It's amazing how many people though worry themselves about things that they can't control.
Well, you're preaching to the
So
converted to a certain
yeah,
with me. As you know, I do worry about things.
I know, but you kind of I've gone to a really quick I don't know what they call it. Do they call it a decision tree? If I find myself worrying about something, I go, can I control it? Yes or no? And if the answer is no, I just go, stop then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Biggles philosophy?
Yeah. Sally sent me that. I love that.
Fabulous. Yeah, yeah. We should share that here. If we can put that in this video here at the end, Biggles for philosophy.
Yeah.
It
Have
is
you got
brilliant.
a copy of that? Because I lost it.
Yeah, I've got it. I recently sent it to a client who's a reasonable friend of mine, somebody I've known for a long time, who's going through a very, very hard time. And I
Right.
sent him it, and he said it really, really helped him.
It's great. And I think it's everything, if you're running a coaching business, it's really easy to get uptight about all kinds of stuff. And actually, that Biggles quote should be pinned onto every business owner's, whether they're in coaching or not, wall where they can see it because it is good. We will share it. I think that's a really good idea,
Yeah,
definitely.
have you made a note of doing that?
Yeah,
We've
yeah.
not really talked about sense of humour, though, have we?
No, that's okay because it's a meandering fireside chat. My next question, because I'm a coach, so I've got a lot of questions. My next question is, what were you doing in May? What were you up to? I'm writing the Biggles thing on my to-do list.
Well, it was my darling wife's birthday. It was on the 14th of May this year. So I kind of made a note of that. Of course, it would have been Mum's birthday on the 5th of May. So that's always in our minds, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, yeah.
We should explain to you that Mum died in 2012. So, at least you don't have to buy a birthday card. It saves
It,
logging on to Moonpig, doesn't it?
it does. I was sorry she missed the Olympics. She would have liked that.
I know she died 6 months before the Olympics. She would have
Oh,
loved that.
she
She
would,
would
yeah.
have liked the Olympics. And then it was our wedding anniversary on the 28th of May.
Right.
Of course, I don't need to tell you this, but you'd organised a surprise birthday party for Sally, so we had journeyed up. It was great. I was quite proud of myself. I basically lied to my wife and was deceitful to her for a good 2 months leading up to a surprise birthday party. So that's a skill that she can be comforted by the fact that her husband is superb at lying and being deceitful. That's huge bonus. I think for everybody in a marriage, I think it's nice to know that their other half can keep a secret from them. And not only on that, but embellish just completely made up things. Because I had to construct a whole fantasy weekend as to what we were doing when we went to Scotland and tell her that we were seeing so and so at such a time, and then we're going there and let's look at the menu so we can choose beforehand what we're going to have when we get to this restaurant, knowing full well that we were never going to go to that restaurant. So that's nice. Was it personal stuff you wanted to know what I did in May? Because that's what I've done. I've not done.
No, but what I was going to go on to was, now you're talking about the lion. Have you watched the Netflix Ashley Madison documentary?
Don't know who or what Ashley Madison is.
Ashley Madison was that website. In fact, it started in Canada. It was a Canadian who built it.
Right.
For married people who wanted to have affairs. And in 2015, all the data was released. Do you remember that?
Remember that? Yes.
Yeah, 37 million names, addresses, emails,
Wow.
sexual penchants were released.
Peccadillos.
Peccadillos, that's right, were released to the world.
Wow.
But just saying, that lying thing. I mean, it was very sad. The documentary, obviously a lot of people got very, very badly hurt, and they in one of the episodes I just watched, there was a suicide as a direct result. So it was horrific.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's not really a skill to brag about, though, is it? That lying, unless you're in MI5.
Or an MP, where they don't lie. I don't think they lie by commission, that they tend to lie by omission. So
Yeah,
they just don't point out the obvious truth of something.
yeah, yeah,
Let's not mention that to the electorate, that actually that will be a consequence of what we've decided to do today.
yeah,
And we're not
yeah.
going to go political, but so yeah, so that's good, isn't it?
My only wish actually is that the government, if I had a major wish for my coaching, is that I could coach the government as a board of directors, because they are a board of directors. You know, the cabinet is essentially a board of
Yeah,
directors, and
yeah,
coaches, you know, are coach boards. And
yeah,
I would really like to have the opportunity to do our purpose, vision, and values set with them as a board and go, right, what's the vision for 10 years? Where do you want this country to be in 10 years' time? Let's work backwards from there and let's set the agenda, and let's have a look at the underlying purpose. And I did this with a guy on one of my NLP courses who is involved in a government function that I won't name. And I said, you know, if governments had the purpose, you know, that our purpose thing, it's like Simon Sinek's why. If their sole purpose was simply to serve, and that's all they focused on,
to serve.
and they had three core values that came out of that, which were, you know, you'd get your behaviors like we do with businesses. I wonder how different things could be.
Well, I think they'd be very different, wouldn't they? Because also it would have to make them look at the values and what they were trying to achieve when actually they might not be in power. But I think that the problem is like, well, what do you want to do? And that is get re-elected.
Yeah, it is the main issue. If they put that to one side, it's like I think the analogy is of a business. If the business's only desire is to make profit, then you end up with an Enron, you know, and that collapses in a heap, or you
Yeah,
end up, you know, there are lots of other examples of businesses that have ended up really toxic and then go bust. And I think that's what happens. I think because their purpose is to get re-elected, the focus is on completely the wrong thing, and they make all the wrong decisions as a result.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and I actually think our nation, our sophisticated, because we're, you know, we're quite long into a Western sort of liberal democracy setup. And I think the populations of those Western liberal democracies are ready for a mature, this is our 10-year vision, and actually we just want people to manage that, thanks very much. And yeah, we want a chance to re-elect them, obviously, because otherwise you end up with mental head dictators, um or at least hold them to account in some way. But yeah, I think we'd all go, do you know what, I can get behind that kind of vision. That sounds quite good.
you'd have to have somebody though that was that were looking to, this is what we actually would like to achieve over the next 20, 30, 40 years. It might not be us that's in play, but that's who's making the decisions. But ultimately that's where we're aiming for. That's where we do.
Yeah.
But normally it's only been single party systems that can do that. So Singapore has been that since Singapore gained its independence. Singapore's attitude has been, right, for the first 10 years we're going to devote all our energy to infrastructure. Then the next 10 years we're going to devote it to education. Then the next 10 years we're going to devote it to the arts and culture. And that's
Right.
what they've done in Singapore. That they've taken those, that
Good.
just, that's it. This is the focus, is that. Singapore's not for everybody.
No, no. And that's what the way Saudi are going, isn't it? They've got their 50-year plan.
Yes, yeah, that's right. But
Um,
it's able to do that because it's not a democracy. They're able to do that because they know for certain, failing some kind of major coup shift things, it's like, no, our family and progeny from our family, we're going to be here for 30, 40, 50 years, so we can plan that far and out. That's what we're looking to. Western democracies don't have that luxury.
No, but
So we come along 5 years later and go, yeah, we disagree with that.
yeah, those dictatorships though always end up collapsing because there's always a nutter that comes along. There's always a Caligula that comes along and just spoils it or an Emperor Nero or something, or spoils it for everybody.
Or goes into coffee shops.
Or goes into coffee shops.
Yeah, after Nero did the emperor thing.
Oh,
now that's real diversification, isn't it? It's like, I've done the emperor thing. What shall I do next?
coffee shops.
I'm going coffee shops. That's what I think. There's a future there. That's where get away from the daily grind to the coffee grind.
I see what you did there, our kid.
Diversification.
Yeah.
It's not an obvious one.
No, 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 it's not. What are you doing next month?
Do you mean June or July?
Oh, sorry, June, because it is actually, is it the 3rd of June?
Third, yeah, it's third.
Yeah.
It's 3rd of June. I am going to Bermuda on the 8th of June.
No.
Don't act surprised, I am.
I know, but I hadn't realized it was the 8th. I'm very excited. And
On the 8th of June. As you know, because I have a client there, I last went there in the end of October 2012, actually, was the last time I went. But the client has asked me back. So Sally and I are spending a week there. She will have a week lying by a swimming pool, and I will have 2 days lying by a swimming pool. So we go on Saturday. We arrive Saturday evening. I'll have Sunday messing about. I'll have Monday messing about, and then I'm working Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, full on days, 8:30 till 6 o'clock kind of thing.
nice.
And then we come back on a Friday. So 6 days. So she's coming with me because why not?
Yeah, why not? Definitely.
So that's me. So that's exciting. And then just bits and pieces, usual trips to London, training people. Yeah, that's June. And then it'll start to go a little bit quiet, although I've got bits and pieces in July, but it just doesn't it? In August, and then there's hardly anything in August. I think I've got 1 or 2 things in August.
We're filming stuff at the end of July, new stuff, aren't we?
Oh yes, we are. Yes, but we are. I'm coming up to see you. We're going to film, aren't we? In
Yeah.
your new Garrett.
Well, hopefully it's done by then. The carpets are all right. Well, I've got to phone to put the carpets in actually. We went to the municipal recycling centre on Sunday.
They have been called for many decades now, but our generation still calls them a tip.
Yeah.
People can't get their heads around what a tip used to be like. Do you remember the one at the end of Clifton Road?
I do.
Right, where a tip, people, and the reason people of a certain age refer to it as a tip is because, and what I'm about to tell the viewer here, you will know it's absolutely accurate.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
drove to the tip, and the tip was a huge pile of rubbish over which tractors drove to flatten it down. And you reversed up to this rubbish, and you opened the boot of your car, and you threw the stuff on the big heap of rubbish, and you drove away. You literally threw it on the floor and drove away. That was the tip.
It was.
Now it's a half-hour job.
Yeah, it's.
As you have to go, does this go in here? Does this go in there? Does that go in there? Is this reset? Oh no, that's the small electrical. When is a small electrical a large electrical? Where's the boundary between a small electrical and a large electrical?
I don't know.
Is it a computer and electrical, or is it an IT?
I don't know, but I remember I was telling David that about the tip because I remember it well. Mum's old Morris Minor that we used to have to crank handle start.
Yes.
Bursting up with all kinds of crap in the boot and just emptying out, and people rummaging in the rubber.
Yes, there would be people there waiting for people to open the boots of their cars and actually trying to get in and have a sort through stuff before you manage to throw it on the floor. They did. So actually, in a way, seriously, recycling had been invented easily by the 70s. And actually before that, because we had, I don't know whether you remember this, but when we first moved to Prestwich, down the backings, we did have a rag and bone man that came down there.
I remember the rag and bone man.
You do remember the rag and bone man, who horse-drawn,
Yeah.
loader car.
Yeah.
And don't forget also, because we had a milkman, so recycling, there was no buying plastic milk bottles because it got delivered and then you put your empties out. So we were recycling all over the place in the 70s.
Want me to tell you something funny?
Yeah, I wish you would, because this is supposed to be about what makes you laugh.
I know. So we'll finish on this because we've got a couple of videos we need to record for the team.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we do. Yeah.
So we have a milkman again, and they deliver the plastic bottles of milk, but they also deliver glass bottles of orange juice with the old foil caps on.
Yeah.
So Ruby, my youngest, is 15, and she was in the kitchen. She couldn't work out how to take the foil cap off.
Which you wouldn't, because actually what you do is you destroy it.
Yeah, you have to press it in, but she didn't know. She said, Mum, I had to get a knife.
That's fabulous.
Isn't it great?
Got a knife.
I had to get a knife. She said, how'd you do it? I went, you do this, sweetheart. Oh, okay.
But you wouldn't know, would you?
No, you wouldn't
just
know.
Wouldn't know what you. This is a bottle with a piece of shiny foil on the top. Who thought of that?
I know.
What, you mean you can't put it on? Yeah, you just sort of rest it on.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah. It kind of loosely
You
goes.
don't destroy
on.
it completely.
No.
And rest it on, unless you're a nana, our paternal nana, who used to have those special little tops that shoved on the top, so it became it had its own little spout.
You'll have ordered those from Tupperware. She had them in all the colours.
How posh were they?
They were great. Nana was great. And as you know, I've turned into Nana because I went to the Chelsea Flower Show for the first time. Nana used to go every year. So I've definitely turned into my Nana without a shadow of a doubt.
I think this can only be a good thing. She was amazing.
Yeah, she was. She was great. She was fab. Right, our kid. That's the fireside chat done for.
And no fire.
No, I had to, because Ruby is back at school. So my first thing was, oh my God, she's left her straighteners on.
Yeah.
No. Had I left anything on? No. Was the grill on? No, nothing's on. It's clearly broken. But getting the cover off her mains attached smoke
detector. Yeah, it's tricky, isn't it?
Really hard, and I was getting quite angry with it. But I did it, so that's fine. But no fire.
But what I'm saying, this is called a fireside chat, and yet it's not beside a fire. In the winter, when I've got the log burner on, I'll actually do this on my laptop, so I'm actually next to a fire.
Oh, all right. I might do the same then in our garden.
And then it is a fireside chat then.
Right. All right then. Okay. Right.
Right. Let's log off. Thank you for watching, whoever you are.
Hey, because we've got to do these videos. Don't.
No, I'm not going away. Because we're going to end this here. So I'm just pretending that we're ending because they won't know that we're doing other stuff.
Goodbye.